Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're at Hex headquarters right now and we're going to build a bare bones computer on this sort of skeleton frame. Okay, so there's not going to be a case to this computer at all, it's just going to be on a frame here. And it's going to look something like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you about the components first and then we're going to get to building, okay? So first thing we have is our Ryzen 7800X3D, which is probably the second best gaming processor you can get, with the 9800X3D being out right now. That obviously takes over it, but this is the king before that one. I actually have this one on my main PC right now at home and it's just been amazing, so we're going to use that one today. We also have this cooler to cool it down. It's a Nautilus 240 ARGB from Corsair, so this will be exciting to see what it looks like when it's out the box and installed, so I'm excited to put that on it. Let's have a look at what else we have. We also have the RM850E 850 watt Corsair power supply unit. We have, this is funny, we have one stick of 32 gigabyte DDR5 RAM, okay, because what happened was the other stick got lost in the post. So we only have one stick of 32. We were trying to go for 64, but we're only gonna have 32 for this video. So before you go in the comments saying, oh my god, why is there only one stick of RAM? That's why. So be careful with the comments. What we have next is we have a tiny little motherboard, ROG Strix B650E, and it is tiny. It's actually smaller than this box. So we're going to be pairing that up with an RTX 5080 as well from Palette. And to top it off, we have got a 2 terabyte Kingston Fury NVMe, which will be plugging into it as well. So I'm gonna shut up and get to building, so let's get to it. Okay, so a little bit about the frame that we're using today. It is not really branded, it's not really a branded frame or anything like that. We found it on Amazon, I think it was. We'll try and get the link in the description for you guys, so if you want to try this, you can get one of these. You know, the assembly was a little bit complicated at first. I'm not actually sure I did this right, to be honest with you. It looks okay enough, but it was a little bit tricky to put together, but we eventually done it, so it's all good. What we'll do is we'll find out if I've put this stuff together as we're assembling the components onto it. So let's get building. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, our motherboard is the B650E Mini ITX. So we're gonna get that opened up. Let's have a look at it. As I said to you earlier, it's actually smaller than the box itself. So let's have a look at that. We'll pull it out of the wee anti-static bag. There it is right there, so you guys can see. So there's actually quite a lot of stuff packed into a tiny little motherboard. You've got the M.2 slot there, a lot of USB ports at the back of it as well, and your dual channel RAM that we will not have, unfortunately, but we will in the future because that stick will arrive eventually. But anyway, let's move on. Let's put this into the frame and see how we get on with that. Now, normally what I would do is I would install all the sort of motherboard components like RAM, CPU and M.2 drives like separately out of the case, but we're not obviously using a case, we're using this. So I thought I'll put the motherboard in first and then we'll put all the components onto it while it's already in here. Makes it more easier, I would say, probably, and saves me having to put the thing back in or whatever. So yeah, I guess that should be fine. There we go. That's 2 terabytes of M.2 storage here, which we'll be putting in here. So let's get that done. Now, always remember, because I've done this before, always remember to peel this plastic off, because that's like a little thermal thing for your NVMe to go into. So my hands are shaking, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it, guys. And instead of having a screw like you normally do, we have this little latch here. So we just push that over it. As it locks, it keeps the thing in place. And then what we have is we've got this heatsink here as well, but on the back of it we also have a heat pad, but we need to take that sticker off it again. Don't forget that. If you have that, please always check underneath, because you don't want to leave that sticker on and get your thermals all messed up. A little bit messed up, but it'll do the job. Pop that back in. Let's get it secured. So this isn't a build that we normally do. It's a build that was requested by a customer because they have limited space and they couldn't have a case for this build. So they wanted something that's like, that can be put into like a like a cabinet, and with it being closed off, it's not going to have any airflow, or limited airflow should I say. So being in an open sort of skeleton frame, if that makes sense, is going to be a little bit better for it than if it was in a case with really limited airflow and not getting the adequate cooling that it needs. Peel that off, lovely. Actually, we'll peel this off as well. We'll peel all this stuff off, let's get this peeled as well. Nice. Okay, it's time for the CPU, guys, so let's get that unboxed. Such a big box for such a small thing. So here's our AMD Ryzen 7800X 3D, one of the best gaming CPUs ever invented. Okay, this is like the most exciting part of like building a computer, is putting this beautiful CPU in here. I need to watch the pins, don't want to bend the pins. I did it last time. I put a CPU into, I think it was an Intel. It was luckily like a really old one, so it didn't really matter to me as much, but I put an Intel CPU in and I literally just scuffed all the pins. It was so sad. Right, I think that's in securely. There we go. Yum. Okay, the next thing I'm going to want to do is install a power supply to it, right? So what we have is we have a little bracket here at the back, which the power supply mounts onto. I don't know how it's going to work yet, but we're just going to have to find out. So, busting out this. It's actually the new style. Brand new RM850E, 850 watt. We've got 1000 there as well, but 850 will be sufficient for this system, so we're going to use this instead. Okay, so it's a fully modular system, so we've got all these cool cables that we can pick and choose which ones we want and need. And for the actual unit itself, here we go. Ah, lovely. I love Corsair power supply units. They're just like, you just know you're going to have a power supply for life with one of these. Like, it's never going to break. It's so good. Lovely. Right, let's see how, like, where it's going to go. Right, so I think it suggests that I mount it this way. I mean, I would like to mount it this way so that it's like a bit more compact, but I don't think it will let me do that. So I think I'm going to have to go and do it this way. But even with that, it's not quite lining up to the holes. In fact, hold on, let's see this. Oh wait, okay, I think we've got a more of a chance doing it this way. Or do it? Yes, we do. This works. This works fine. Okay, so let's do it that way. I'm a little bit upset that I can't have it this way, you know, because it would make it, or even this way actually, it would make more sense to have it this way, like that. I mean, we could maybe make another bracket that sort of stretches up, but this is the way we're going to have to have it this way, which I mean is okay, I guess. It's fine, it's not a big deal, but you know what I'm like. Okay, I've just had a brainwave, right? So this power supply, I wasn't going to let that go. I just swapped the thing round from the bottom, so now this will go and sit like this, no problem. So I'm a little bit of a genius, I know, but this will go in nicely here and we can secure it like that, and it's not going to be sagging or doing stuff we don't want it to do, so that's cool. Also, what I've realised is we're probably going to have to put the graphics card vertically because it's a massive card and it's going to sag. So we'll have a look at it when we get to it, but I'm probably pretty sure we're going to have to raise this up a little bit and make a vertical solution for it. But let's get this power supply unit put in and we'll worry about that later. Okay, the power supply is now in. It's quite sturdy. There is a little bit of movement in it, but it's obviously just going to sit on a steady flat surface, so it's not going to be on a trampoline or anything, so we don't have to worry about it moving. But I think what we'll do is maybe we'll just sort out another one of these brackets with a 3D printer and get another screw at least in here so we can secure it a little bit more, but it's fine, it's not that bad, it'll be fine, it'll be okay. Right, let's get the wires out and plug it in. Modular, lovely, big massive wire loom, so let's get this stuff untangled, we can see what one we actually need, what we don't need, and you know, plug it in accordingly. So that'll be fun. Okay, this is the motherboard one, so I'm assuming we'll probably need that one. So let's get that one untangled. Cable management's going to be interesting on this build, let me tell you that for free. So I love modulars because you can literally just pick and choose what you actually want to use. When you get the non-modular ones and you get the big massive like tanglement of like cables, it's just annoying. So it's good that we got this, so we can actually decide what we want and what we need. So with cable management, what I think I will do is I've plugged it in, so I'm not sure where to put it, to be honest with you, but I'm probably going to just stash it behind the motherboard here, like so. I'll obviously cable tie it up and stuff later, but this probably looks like the best solution, especially with this cool clip that we get, this thing here. So I mean, that looks okay, I think, I would say. Probably looks okay. Probably the best we're going to get it, to be honest. But I think what I'll do is I'll actually secure it. I'll maybe bring this over a little bit, pull these cables through because they're getting a little bit loosened. And what I will do is probably leave this clip thing here and cable tie the cable to the frame behind the motherboard, so it's like really nice and tight, like so. And that looks probably really neat. So we're going to probably do that. We'll see how it looks once we have it all figured out. For now, what we'll do is we'll check out how the graphics card will look in this thing, because if it's sagging too much, we're going to put it vertically so that to prevent that and support it a different way. So let's get the graphics card out and we'll see what it looks like. So we get some cool stickers. We get an NVIDIA palette gaming mouse mat of some sort, or a desk mat if you will. Pretty cool, pretty smooth. Nice touch, to be honest, nice touch. Are you ready for the reveal? Boom, this thing is massive. Check this out. So the 5080 palette looks lovely. It's actually a massive card, to be honest. I mean, I've got the 4090 in my system, and I fully believe this is actually longer than my MSI Supreme X 4090. But we'll have a look. I'm going to have a look at the specs later and see what length this thing is, but it is massive. But anyway, let's get it into the PC. I was going to say case, but the frame, and we'll see. Oh, there's some cables as well for like plugging it in. That's pretty cool. That's actually quite useful. But anyway, let's get this in and see how it looks and if it weighs okay enough to be left alone or not. Okay, so I currently have this thing plugged into the PCIe slot, but I'm telling you now, I am not letting this thing go because I can feel the weight of it on my fingers. And I'm telling you now, if I let this go, it's going to snap the PCIe slot or snap the connector on the back of the GPU right off straight away. This thing is heavy, and with no support, it's just not going to happen. I mean, we could put some sort of support down here but below it, but I'm just not even comfortable with that either. So vertical it is. So let's move this motherboard up a little bit and mount this thing securely. Now let me get this thing out before, like, this is so terrifying to even do. So I'm going to get this thing out from the PCIe slot before it actually does snap off by accident or anything like that. There we go. Whew, I am sweating. Okay, so to raise this up, I need to actually get this power supply unit back out because it's kind of in the way of the little points of like securement, if that makes sense. Securement? Yeah, sure, whatever. Anyway, so there's little points in there and you need to use a really, really thin Allen key, which actually is provided with the frame and I think it's lost. Okay, luckily I've got this iFixit sort of kit of stuff and I have a matching Allen key thing, so I can now undo this. Very quickly we'll just put this up. I'm not sure how high up we'll put it, but we'll put it high up anyways. Also, in case you never noticed, I actually ran the power supply cable to the 24 pin behind here, which I found a little bit neater and also necessary, because with this AIO cooler, right, this cooler is going to go on the side here, So I can't run the cable this way because it's going to be obviously in the way. So I thought I'll just take it away and put it behind, and that way it saves me the hassle of doing that. So anyway, let's put this motherboard up a little bit. I don't even need to unscrew it much, I need to loosen it. See what happens, it's all tension, this thing. Like it's not actually screwed into anything, it's just tension. So we'll raise it up to here for now, and I'm going to secure it. Like hopefully this is enough. Oh my goodness, this is not high enough. Right, okay. Part 2. Okay, so I've raised it up so you can see as well quite a bit. It's actually sticking out. I've raised it all the way up, but don't worry, because what I will do is once I'm satisfied with how the GPU sits in here, which has now got plenty clearance, I will lower this down a little bit so I can make this in line with this flush, because that's really bothering me. So once I have this GPU sitting in place nicely, I will then lower it back down. So let's get the GPU installed so that we can just forget about it. Okay, so I've got the bracket installed and I'm ready to put the GPU in the bracket now, okay? So I also had a stroke of genius, right? Because I thought to myself, I'm like, once I get this thing, where's the holes? There. Once I get this thing sort of installed like this, right? It's gonna move about. There's not gonna be enough in this to hold it upright. So I was like, well, I've not really got a GPU bracket, support bracket, right? But I remembered we have a lot of these little things, like little L things, right? They're the things that hold this whole thing together. So I thought, if I just put one of these, wrong way, if I put one of these in here, there's our support bracket. Such genius is so rare. So yeah, anyway, so let's just do that. So if I just put this back in here now, for just to check it out, it's too high. Wait, I've just got another genius, because I can just flip it round, put it in this way, right? And that gives me too low, but that's fine because I can then raise it to the correct height, and there we go, we have our GPU bracket, guys. Perfect, let's get this installed right now. These are the most flimsiest screws ever. Let me tell you that. Shit. I've never done anything like this before, like on a frame instead of a PC case. And I'll be honest, right, it was very like, I don't know, I just felt really like anxious doing it, because I'm like, well, how is this going to go? How's that going to go? You know, where's that going to fit in? Blah, blah, blah. You don't really think, you can't imagine how it's possibly going to go, right? So I was just like, this is going to be a disaster, complete disaster, it's not going to work, and, you know, stuff like that. But it's working. It's actually coming together really well. So I'm really happy about that. I'm going to move this back a tiny touch, because it's not sitting right against, it's not all of it sitting right against, there we go, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm obviously going to raise that, because right now, as you can see, it's a little bit squint. But I'm going to raise that graphics card holder, I'm going to call it, well, there's that, and put it up here like this, so it's nice and straight, and that will give us exactly what we're after. Right, let's check that out, see how that works. Oh, I just realised that's loose. I should have tightened that up, but that's okay. Do you know what, that's actually, yeah, that's pretty good. We can deal with that. Look at that, guys. See? Nice and secure. Nothing sagging. Nothing looking weird. It's all nice. It's all perfect. Excellent. Let's get it secured, and I'll come back to you once it's secured. Okay, so that's the GPU all secured now. As you can see, there's no sagging. It's nice and secure, so we're happy with that, okay? Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to feed the cable for the GPU to the power supply unit. So it's a little bit tricky here because of where the 12-pin connector is for the graphics card, but I've tried it before I started filming here, and it will fit just fine. It's just a little bit snug, but that's kind of what we want anyway, so that's okay, that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll actually show you, I'll get the camera over here and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so as you can see, the connector is right in there, bang on in the middle, and there's a couple of things here that might stop me from getting in there, but it's actually okay, because if I just pull this out a slight bit, I can feed the cable in there like this. All I need to do is just put a bit of pressure on it and click it in. I think that's it actually in now. I know for a fact I will never be able to take this cable out now, so I'm hoping that it's in, because it is quite a tight fit. I can try and get it from the back as well, just to make sure that it's properly plugged in, but it seems to be nice and snug in there. So what I'm going to try and do is actually feed these cables through this gap here, so that they're not going obviously over here, because that's where the radiator is going to be. So if I just put this through here, it looks messy right now, I know, but just let me cook and you'll see this will be all good in the end. This little thing, I'm going to actually pull it down a bit. There we go, that just keeps it nice and tight in there. And that goes behind like that, and it's out the way as well. And it, do you know what, it looks okay, it doesn't look terrible, it actually looks neat enough. So yeah, that's the plan. Okay, let's get the power supply back in to the back here, and we can get the rest of the computer secured. Okay, so if you remember right, I've changed the power supply over so it's vertically installed instead of being horizontal and ugly. So now I'm gonna just try and find the screws. I would really love to make another little bracket, like 3D print it, like a plastic one, to put up here, so you can secure it into these two holes, or even this one single hole would be great. So yeah, maybe we'll look into that in the future. But anyway, PSU in. So now we can plug these bits in. But actually, before we plug them in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the CPU cable plugged in just now, and that's this one here. Now this one doesn't have the wee fancy thing that these ones do like that, but we'll just we'll cable tie it up anyway, so that'll be fine. So the CPU one just goes in the top here, click, and we will figure out a way, maybe actually put it behind if it fits. It doesn't fit. Well, that's a shame. Okay, so that's the CPU plugged in at the top now, and I have it the way I wanted it, which is basically going under the frame at the top. So that's perfect. So now what we can do is we can plug all these in to the power supply unit. So that's the graphics card, and that literally just goes here at the bottom. Click. CPU goes to the three here. One of them, doesn't matter which one of them's fine. And the 24 pin, which is already plugged into the PSU, I will just plug it into the motherboard. So this one actually feeds through this little gap. You just need to figure it out this way. This feeds through here already, so that's good. And then all I'm going to do is just bring it through here and get it plugged in like this. And these cables will go behind here, and it will basically look like this. Quite neat, I must admit. There's not a lot of cable going on, so that's pretty cool. But when you look behind, obviously that happens. So we're gonna do some cable management real quick. So let me do that off camera, and I'll come back to you and show you how it looks once it's done. Okay, so the cable management has now been sorted out. So let me present to you the cable management. So it's as neat as I could possibly get it. You probably will have opinions in the comments, but put them down there. Let me see what you would have done. But basically it's all secure, it's all nice and snug, it's not going anywhere. And we will now cut off the excess cable tie. And that's that sorted out. So now it looks like this. Really neat. You can't even see a cable from the back at all. And it's all just nice and snug. Everything's really just sitting tight, you know? So really happy with that, and I think it looks good, to be honest. So as good as we can get it on a frame, right? So that's, yeah, solid. Let's get the AIO installed now. That's the next challenge, is getting this put on and hooked up. So let's get it unboxed and see what it looks like. Okay, so in the box we have L radiator with the pump itself as well. We'll get these taken apart so you can see what it looks like. Right, so my biggest worry was that we're going to have a cable from the pump, which is cool, it's fine, I don't mind it. But I have on my cooler at home, the cables are built into the radiator or the fans that are on the radiator. So it minimises the cables at the CPU bit here, but you know what, it's fine, we can absolutely manage with that, it's not a problem. So this comes with a pre-applied thermal paste at the back here. Don't know if you can see that yet. So I'm not going to take this off just yet because I don't want to accidentally touch it and ruin it. So we'll keep it off just now. We need to put the fans onto here anyway. And also, the biggest thing we need to do is figure out where the hell it's going to go. So let's have a quick look at the frame and figure out where we're going to put it. Okay, so at first it was a little bit difficult to understand where to put it because we can't put the screws like right through the radiator. So I had to find something that I can secure this to the frame with, right? So I found these little L brackets like these, and I was like, how can I make it so that I can put these like so and fasten it to the board? So what I did was something like this here. Don't know if you can see that, right? But I'll zoom in on it. So basically that is secured to the frame, and this little frame, this little radiator, sorry, will literally go on top of it, or inside of it actually, like this, so it's in line with the frame, and that's how it will be looking. So that is absolutely bang on. So let's get this put in so we can get it hooked up and we can finally turn this thing on. Okay, so I've finally figured out how this is meant to all set and lined it up to the holes in the radiator. So now what I'll do is I'll just screw all this in, fasten it up, and then we'll get the water pump plugged in and running, and we can hopefully at that point probably finish up with wiring and do the first boot up. So exciting, let's get it done. Okay, so that's the radiator now properly secured to the frame, so perfect, we're getting there. Now we have these fans, right? Now that's one thing I didn't think of when I was putting the radiator in is, well, how am I going to put the fans in, right? So what we're going to do is, because of these brackets, they have a little bit of a like a recess sort of thing. They push it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these things, the little spacers, to kind of even it out so it doesn't sit at an angle, so it's nice and straight to it. And Corsair thankfully has these extra long screws, and I've checked it, it does actually screw it in, secures it, so it's really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two out first, and then we'll put the fan in. So let's get it done. Okay, so that's the fans installed now, so they're looking nice and pretty. So now let's get these cables plugged in so that we can finally get the actual cooler block on, and we can, I keep saying this, we can finally turn this on. So let's do it, let's get it done. So at this point, Darius, the owner of Hex, came around, and I ended up getting distracted and forgetting I'm filming. So I ended up talking to him and expressing my excitement about this build. But anyway, here's how the AIO pump block installation went. I simply removed the original bracket and slid on the AM5 one. By the way, this took me absolute ages to figure out that it does that. I had no idea that it slides out, and I couldn't find the instruction manual anywhere in the box. But anyway, at that point what I done was I removed the original bracket things off the motherboard and I popped in the AM5 standoffs. After that it was just basically putting the block on and tightening up with the thumb screws, which I also couldn't find for a very long time until Darius came in and picked it up and was like, is this what you're looking for? And I'm like, oh yeah, that is exactly it. So anyway, that's how that went. So pretty simple, right? Okay guys, so finally we have the pump in, everything's wired up, the block, the cooler, the radiators are all wired up. I'm going to clean these up obviously, but we're kind of ready for our first boot right now. So I don't want to clean all this up in case something doesn't work and I have to untie it and all the rest of it. So I want to switch this on and see if it all works, and only then, after I know it all works, I will then clean up the cables from the block and from the coolers. So I have this little switch that the frame comes with, tiny little switch, goes into the power on the motherboard. So we'll get that secured in, and we'll get the power supply cable and we'll plug it in and we will boot it. So let's get this installed. It's the last component of this whole thing, and hopefully that will be us. So give me 2 minutes, let me just plug this in. Okay guys, 4 hours later, and I think we're at a point now where it's time to get this bad boy out, and we can finally see if I've failed or if I've created something beautiful. So without further ado, or whatever it is they say. Oh yeah, that could probably go back on there, right? That could probably be a good shout to put that back on. There we go. A nice wee peel. Lovely. Yeah, let's get this plugged in. You see what I'm doing here, right? This is literally about to go down, guys. It's about to go down. Hold on, I'm just gonna make sure none of these cables are in the fans, because that would just be a terrible thing. Right. Oh yeah, so this is working. Everything works. It's all working, right? It's all great, right? It's all fantastic, right? Oh, I can hear the liquid swooshing. Listen to the liquid. So nice. But the only dumbass thing that I didn't do, the cable for the graphics card. So we're going to turn this off, and we're going to fit the riser cable to the graphics card, because I was like, oh my god, the graphics card's exploded, it's broken, it's done. But no, it's just my dumbass didn't put the thing in. So let me just do that quickly just now, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, we have now fitted the riser cable to the bottom of the GPU from the PCIe slot, so now we can boot it again, and hopefully this time everything will light up and work and spin, and oh my goodness, look at that! Look at this, just take a look at this. We'll get it plugged in and see if it works properly. Okay, so we plugged a little portable screen into the computer. The light is now gone. There's no OS obviously installed on it, so that's the other light. But on the screen, don't know if you can make it out, but it says new CPU installed, blah, 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 blah. So press Y to reset and press N to keep previous. So basically what that tells us is that there's not a single fault with the computer, and it will boot as soon as we plug a keyboard into it. So I think that's us, really, that's complete. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean it up a little bit, and we'll give you the final overview of a final couple of shots of the computer so you can see it, and that'll be us, guys. So thank you for watching, and let's have a look at it. Okay guys, so here we have it. You have a first look at the build with a few clips before this, and I must admit this is probably the best thing I've ever built in terms of computers. This is just a masterpiece right now. The way it looks, just all of it. I know it's maybe a little bit messy with the little cables, and I could have maybe done a little bit better of a job with the small cables from the fans, but we can work on that. We can figure out a way around that. We can always change stuff, you know. So the main thing is that it all works. It started up on the first attempt. We forgot the PCIe riser cable, but that's fine, that happens, you know, you always forget some stuff. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you love the build as much as we do. I think it's beautiful. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you'd like one, we can maybe build you one. I mean, it's not a no, you know, it's just a lot of labor involved, but you know, it's something we can probably do. But yeah, now let's go away and install the best operating system ever on it, Windows XP. So we'll catch you next time, and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much.